Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another episode of Truly Bedrock Season 2. I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic today. We're starting off today's episode over here at the Expert Guardian Farm, which we have built up in the last couple of episodes. Right now, the AFK spot looks a little bit janky, and that's because all of this is very temporary. But as you can see, we have been AFKing at this farm for a while. I've been turning a lot of the items into blocks for building. We got 113 levels, and I have not been here for that long. Regardless of all that though, today we're going to be doing some pretty massive work on this area. As you can see, I've marked out 4 floating squares in the middle of the sky, and this is going to be the location of 4 different iron farms. This is actually going to be the very bottom level of the iron farm, and then the beds will be up at that layer. So it's going to be like 4 or 5 blocks taller than this level right here. And that is going to be another major part of this area done. You might think that these are a little bit high up in the sky, and you would be right. These iron farms are as high as they possibly can be while still functioning from our AFK spot at the Guardian Farm. So while we're AFKing right here at the Guardian Farm, those iron farms will still function. If we are any lower than that, even a block lower, those iron farms will no longer work. And that is because this entire area is going to be one massive, huge vertical stack of farms going up super high into the sky. I got plans for this area, and these iron farms are a crucial part of that, similar to how the Guardian Farm is a massive, crucial part of that as well. Anyway, so besides that, I've also figured out a lot of the other puzzle pieces of how we're going to make this area function together as one industrial unit, and how we're actually going to make it look good, as well as a build palette for all of this. So we got a lot of stuff to do in today's episode. I'm here to rudely interrupt the beginning of my own episode to tell you that I will be live streaming on Friday, January 29th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 8:30 Eastern Time, or late Europe time. Come hang out. I would love to hang out with you guys and, you know, chill with ya. This is going to be our 3rd YouTube live stream, and I kind of am enjoying them. Also, we are daily streaming until February 7th over on Twitch, so if you want more live streams, there's going to be a couple on YouTube, there's going to be a couple more on Twitch. Come hang out. I really do love hanging out with you guys in the live streams. And with that rude interruption over, let's get back to the episode. The first thing I want to do is throw together a build palette for this. I got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I want to try out. As of right now, I've kind of just been building things without really worrying about the build palette. That entire thing right there is very temporary though. That's all gonna get torn out. It's just for the villagers, for the iron farms. But yeah, like right now we gotta actually go back through and change up the floor of this build and make that look actually at all decent, because right now it's kind of super ugly. So having a build palette will make sure that we can build everything correctly in the future without having to go back through and change things up. So this is what I'm thinking when it comes to a build palette. Obviously we got all of the prismarine and sea lanterns things, because of course we have a Guardian Farm. We're going to be using these blocks pretty massively. We also got the cyan and light blue glass, blue, packed, and normal ice. All of these things go really well together in that bluish green build palette. And then as a bonus, we also have the warped wood, especially the stripped variety. This goes very, very well with the prismarine palette. It's kind of a muted color. It doesn't really have much texture to it, but it goes so well with these blocks. And then of course we got the actual log versions. This is one of those ones that has like the bark on all sides. I don't really think we'll use this. This is way too purpley, but it could actually go well with the prismarine. This stuff does change colors, and it does have kind of a purpley color, so we might be able to find a spot for some of these blocks. Occasionally, you'll just have to wait until the stuff is purple for it to look good. Of course, we got the warped trapdoors, pressure plates, doors, and buttons as well, and all of that could look kind of decent depending on how it's used. I don't think doors will have much use, but the trapdoors almost certainly. However, this is where things get a little bit interesting. We now have a blackstone in the game, and this could make for some very, very interesting contrast blocks to really pop on the build palette. Of course, we got the polished and then the normal blackstone as well, and we have a lot of different blocks that we can build with in this palette. It is a really nice contrast to the bluish green of of the prismarines and everything, and I quite like how it looks. In addition to that stuff, we also, of course, have the soul torches and the soul lanterns, maybe a little bit of nelium. It's kind of got a bit of green in it, doesn't it? That's kind of gross. And then, of course, there is the warped warp blocks, which could go well in certain spots as well. Anyway, I am not really a builder person. I don't really know what I'm doing basically at all, and I never have when it comes to building. So please let me know your thoughts and suggestions regarding this build palette down in the comment section of the video. I need your help. I have no idea what I'm doing. If you got suggestions or additions, let me know down there. Thank you so much. I need all the help in the world. By the way, I really love Blackstone so much that I actually have an entire shulker box dedicated to it, and other miscellaneous items apparently, and I don't even have a shulker box dedicated to food. You know, that stuff that you need to, like, live. One additional thought I had to the build palette that I don't think is gonna work is polished and regular basalt. I don't think there's many ways to really blend this in with the rest of the palette. Of course, it goes really well with the blackstone, but the blackstone's only gonna be for highlights, so I don't really know if it's gonna work. I don't think it is. We're gonna put it back in the chest. Just realized that I forgot that blackstone slabs existed, and also I cleaned up the build palette significantly more, so now we really got a very good visualization of what we have to work with. I would also like to tell you my entire plan for this base area and kind of build like a mini version of it, but I feel like we've rambled enough at the beginning of today's episode. Let's actually get into building the iron farms, because we kind of got to build 4 of these things, so we better get cracking if we want to make progress today. So just a little while later, I got the entire shell of the build put together. This cloud is blocking my view. Dang, I'm just trying to show off my, you know, build skills. Anyway, this is definitely not the final product, but I think it is a decent little demonstration of the build palette working together. I really do like the blackstone, like, a lot. This is my new favorite block in the game, basically, besides structure blocks. Those things are amazing, and I love them so much. Regardless, this is going to be slightly changed up from my one chunk iron farm, so if you're familiar with that design, it's entirely within one chunk, and all of the villagers are on the inside of the build. If we can hop down in here, whoop, yeah. So the villagers would normally go in the corners. I decided to put them on the outside of the build, so we got 2 cells, 1 on either side. This gives us slightly more spawning spots on the inside of the build, and should, in theory, give us ever so slightly better rates, like probably a couple ingots more per hour. I'm not really worried about it. I've also switched the kill chamber down to a 2x2 just for symmetry's sakes, and that means I had to change the bed layout as well. There's really no advantages to doing it the way that I'm doing it here on the server, but I wanted to make it, you know, symmetrical with the rest of the base, and that way it has a chance of looking correct when it's finally done. Something I never realized about Minecraft clouds is that they're not at a standard layer. As you can see, they're floating above this platform, but they're not at like a half slab height. They're like a custom height. Why is this important? It's not, but I thought you should know, and now you do. Side note, I realize a lot of people hate clouds and want me to turn off clouds. Why would I turn off clouds? They're so cute and fluffy. What do you guys have against clouds? Legitimately, if you play with clouds off, what is your issue? They're so cute and fluffy. How can you hate them? Okay, I could see not enjoying the flickering and the Z fighting, but you know what? When is that ever an issue? I'm starting to realize just how many blocks these farms start to consume, and I definitely do not have enough prismarine for all of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the fabled, you know, second account onto the server, and he's gonna go AFK right here. That way, as I'm off of building the farms, the second account's gonna get like 1,000,000 levels, and that way we'll actually have a whole bunch of drops to go into the chest as well. So let me get that dude on the server. Aha! Hello, Silent2. How you doing? Long time no see. You doing good? Well, that's good to hear. Are you ready to, like, do some work and get some things done with your pathetic life? Well, too bad. You're gonna have to stand here for as long as I want you to, and basically just farm these guardians. How do you feel about that? Great. Well, get to work. I'll see you later. I would like you to know that he already has 50 levels. This farm is so stupid. Also, I do realize that the trident killers are not linked to him. They're still linked to me, so I still have to use the looting sword and still have to hold this to get the best rates. That's perfectly fine. Anytime I'm walking around here, I'll just idly hold my sword, and that'll give us the best rates. And when I'm not holding my sword, we'll still get pretty decent rates. I'm not too worried about it. It's certainly easier than making him walk around and get all of the tridents and throw them, and then me have to go back around and pick up the tridents and throw them. Trident killers are not that convenient for multiplayer use, but you know what? It's alright, I'm fine with it. Anyway, now we need to get 10 of those guys up into those 2 cells, 5 per cell, and I'm thinking I'm gonna make a really giant, really annoying rail line for that. I present to you the Staircase of Jeng. A couple of hours later now, it is officially dark out. Can you please sleep, good sir? Can you sleep? That would be appreciated. No, sleep. Don't punch the bed. Sleep. Thank you. Okay, he's so cooperative. Also, I would like you to know that he officially has 183 levels, and I have 178. That's a lot of experience. He started with like 20, so it's been a couple of hours now. I need to turn on the ray tracing so that the water looks, you know, like water. Anyway, we have built up 2 of the iron farms now. It's kind of hard to see with the clouds, but there is the first iron farm, of course, and there is the second one. Now, we're having a little bit of an issue with the villages, so technically neither of these farms are actually fully operational or operational at all in the slightest. Now, the issue is that villager breeder is within 96 blocks or whatever of that iron farm, so by putting down beds up there, all of the villagers in that villager breeder, and therefore all of the villagers in this iron farm, are now part of that village. So I can't put down workstations, therefore that farm is inoperable. So what I need to do is build up all 4 of these guys, get villagers into all 4 of them, and then destroy all the beds of that one. Wait a minute for the village to be completely destroyed, and then I can start placing down the beds and the workstations, and that should be perfectly fine. These are definitely far enough away from one another where they will not interact with one another when they're actually, you know, all set up, but because that is so close to that farm, that is why we're having an issue. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and build up the platforms for this one and that one, and we'll see what we get done. It is now the next day, which makes this day 3 of working on this episode. I love the amount of playtime that I have for this episode. Thursday episodes have a lot of time put into them. It's great. I love just being able to do things off camera. Anyway, Silent 2 now has 269 levels, and I just did a little bit of AFK fishing, meaning that I got a little bit of loot from this stuff. I already kind of sorted it, and then we got some stuff from the iron farm as well. So I am just AFKing my face off, getting all of the things that we need for all of these different projects, and also all 4 of the iron farms are now built up. So let's head over there and check it out. Hey, Silent 2, sleep! Thanks! Okay, so as you can see, we got all 4 of the different iron farms in place, and it's actually looking pretty decent. Of course, the decoration of the farms is not done. They are going to look significantly different than that, I think, once they're actually done. As you can see, I've done very minimal additions besides the actual base shell of the farm that's needed for it to function. And that's really just about it. Now, I do have one fear. So I know that the farms are like 112 or 120 blocks apart, like this direction, going straight across. However, diagonally, they're not that far apart. They're like 70, maybe, from the center of the village to the center of the village. And it's got to be like 96. So we might not be able to get all these to work. And I didn't think about that until I built all 4 of them, which of course I didn't. You know, of course you don't think about the one thing that could break the entire thing until you've already built the entire thing. That's just how this goes. Anyway, so right now we got all 4 farms in this kind of layout, and in order to make it work, we might need them in this kind of layout. Like kind of, no, that's not quite right. Here, let me build this. We might need to build them in this kind of layout compared to this layout. That way they are far enough apart. So we'll still have them right on the edge of the simulation distance. They'll basically just be to the side by 1 chunk. So that'll be moved to the right, that one will be moved to the right, that one will be moved to the right, and that one will be moved to the right. Meaning that we would need to completely rebuild all 4 of the farms, which honestly, that's not like a terribly bad thing. I can do that in 1 to 2 live streams, I think. That's not going to be super terrible if that is the case. But it's still gonna suck. Because, you know, I just got all 4 of them done. So let's hope that that's not the case. Let's hope that we can just get all 4 of them to work, you know, without issues. There's an old saying that I do kind of live by, and that's hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So, yeah, we kind of got to rebuild all 4 of these. I just got done with our Wednesday YouTube stream. Thank you to everybody who stopped by that, by the way. Didn't really go as planned. So yeah, these things are definitely way too close on the diagonals. Massive Omega level facepalm. Basically, the last 3 days of my life are now undone in an instant. It's great. It's good. You know, sometimes that happens when you're playing Minecraft. So we do need to offset the farms, and that'll be a pretty easy thing to do. So again, this will be the center AFK chunk. You go out by 4 chunks, and then you build over, and then that would be where your iron farms are. I won't be able to connect them together how I originally envisioned, which was, you know, basically a circle. So this is the current layout. You stand here in the middle, and then you got 4 iron farms, and then you can connect them together in a circle like that. But what we can do to connect together these kinds of iron farms now is kind of do spirals. So kind of like that. It's gonna be a little bit awkward to demonstrate on this scale. But yeah, basically a little bit something like that to connect them all together, or maybe we'll leave them freestanding. I don't know. What I do know is much sadness, many sads. We got to kind of rebuild all 4 of these things. Now, that is the thing that we should probably do. However, there is another option. We can use the village stacking method to combine these 4 farms into an area that they shouldn't normally exist. The thing about village stacking is it's completely unreliable. So in the future, it may break. It's happened before, it could happen again. All the villages can combine in a future update, and we might be completely deaded at that point. But we could go ahead and create a village, you know, whatever, 40 blocks out from each of the iron farms, and then slowly drag them into the center of the iron farm. So let me know what you think we should do down in the comment section. I do want to hear from you guys. Should we completely tear down the farms, rebuild them, build them in a spiral shape or something? Or should we try the village stacking method and try our luck with that? That way we don't need to tear down all 4 of these dudes. Let me know, and thank you so much for your feedback. At the very least, we did learn 2 very important things in today's episode. 1, Silent 2 is a very enthusiastic worker. It appears that he does not agree with me. Well, you know what? You're enthusiastic, all right. And we also learned that the Guardian farm works amazingly. We got ourselves a lot of prismarine now. I've been crafting it all down. We got even more in the chest. We're having way too many crystals. Way too many crystals. Way too many crystals. And we also realized that we have a dolphin up here. That's brand new to me. But we also realized that we got lots of experience now. I got 220 levels, Silent 2 has 310, and I need something to do with that sheer amount of experience. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today's episode of Truly Bedrock Season 2. I hope that you have enjoyed. I have greatly enjoyed, even though it's kind of a major flop. The base is already coming together and looking really awesome. Like, it just looks so good. I know we got ray tracing on already, but I'm quite happy with it. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's episode of Truly Bedrock, make sure to leave a like on the video. below. It really does help out the video and the channel a ton. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss future episodes, and I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.